Hi, this is Jeffrey Kurt Financial Group. Today's Monday, May 18, 2026. Looking back at last week, not much movement in the stock market on the major averages except the Russell 2000, which was down 2.4%. And that means that the NASDAQ for the year to date has slightly larger than the Russell's return, so NASDAQ leading the way for now. Last week's just was more dominated by geopolitical headlines, President Trump's trip to China, and then what seemingly was a breakdown in negotiations with Iran, and of course oil went up as a derivative of that breakdown of the talks. So but overall this has been an historic rally since those lows of late March. We've been talking about that regularly. In the past month, the S&P 500 has had 14 new record highs. So again, just all huge rally and driven by mostly technology and AI investments. If you take out tech out of the S&P 500, the S&P 500 instead of being up 8% is up around 3% or less. So that's how, the technology, AI stuff dominating the stock market and the economy. The S&P 500 2026 estimates are up 8% recently, and another 8% forecast from a consensus standpoint for the end of 2027. But if you take out energy and technology out of those estimates, they're flat year over year. So no earnings growth for many of the S&P 500 components and big companies in our economy. But again, AI and energy now are really firing and driving a lot of the what's going on in both the economy and the stock market. Looking forward this week, the big news is Nvidia, their earnings on Wednesday night. So, everything tied to Nvidia, and that's an AI, player and a big driver in that whole space. And then also one other thing to throw out there, I've read that the SpaceX IPO filing will be done this week. And so that starts in motion. You get some more details on SpaceX, on the financials, on the business, on the projections, and all that stuff. But it generates a lot of excitement about SpaceX as well. And that IPO is projected to be around June 12th. So again, a lot of excitement, and the markets, probably going to be okay going into that. The powers that be are going to want to have a decent, market to bring forth, SpaceX, and then after that, Anthropic and OpenAI as well. So thank you for listening. We'll be back on Wednesday. Please send along any comments and questions. Please like, subscribe, and share as well. Goodbye.